When the sun goes down, the stars come out. From deep in the heart of Texas, it's the Star at Night. Coming to you from the Cowboys facility at the Star in Frisco. With your hosts, Kelsey Charles and David Hellman.
Hey there, everybody. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Star at Night. I am David Hellman. I am joined by my partner in plaid. That's Kelsey Charles. In the other
I like that.
I'm not going to risk pointing in the wrong direction like I have a habit of doing. Kelsey, I hate to say it because the standings say that the Cowboys are 2-6 and they just lost another game, but I'm feeling pretty good because that was a football game. Like
compared
the Cowboys,
to what?
Compared to what we watched the 2 weeks before. Like, they played football. They made stops. They got takeaways. Yeah, it wasn't always beautiful, but it looked like a football game. Like, they were in it, which is more than you can say about the previous 2 weeks. Am I crazy? I feel like you think I'm crazy.
You're definitely always crazy, but I have to say not in this sense because the Dallas Cowboys actually looked like a football team this past weekend when they were in Philly. Granted, the final outcome doesn't show that, but listen, we'll take anything we can get at this point. Forcing 4 turnovers, interceptions, literally sacks. Like we're doing things, you guys. The defense was there. I can't say the same for the other side of the ball, but listen, again, in these times, we will just stack the little victories and we'll get there. We'll get there.
I'm glad you said that. You're right. Really, most of the positives were on the defensive side of the football. They lost 23-9. I don't think we said that. I'm sure you know that already if you're watching this show. DiNucci, a guy that you and I played no small part in hyping up on the internet this week. Listen, I thought you know what? I'm not even going to be mean. 7th round pick, rookie out of FCS James Madison has to come in and play against Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. Did he play well? No. Did you expect him to play better? Shame on you if you did. I ain't hating on the Nooch. I ain't hating on the Nooch for the way that he played. In the circumstances he was presented, it was fine.
Literally that. I mean, listen, people are calling for Garrett Gilbert. I'm like, Garrett Gilbert doesn't even know what he doesn't know yet. Like, chill out. This is like you said, 7th round pick, 3rd stringer. He got thrown into the game last week. This is his first ever true NFL start. Come on, man.
So, did you like the amount of ridiculous stuff that they did to offset the Nooch? Like, we saw 15 reverses. We saw Zeke playing some wildcat. Cedric Wilson tried to throw a patch, which we had Cedric on last week, and he wouldn't tell us because he knew it was coming out of the bag. It was such a throwback to high school football. I really, it didn't work, but I appreciated the Cowboys emptying the playbook.
Did it though? Because listen, the final score obviously was kind of terrible, but I don't really feel like that accurately represents how the game went the entire time. The Cowboys had a lead going into halftime, and they really truly were in the game up until the end of the 3rd quarter. So I guess here's the thing. They had to play like that. You can't expect, like we've said already 10 times in this show, because it is so relevant, you guys, and you have to remember this when you criticize him. He's a 7th rounder, a 3rd stringer, his first ever appearance. They have to play differently when a guy like that driving your offense. They have to. And, it just didn't completely work out. So
you were on a roll and they were dead on arrival. We knew that was going to happen. They scored 9 points.
That's the trend of the season, though, my friend.
They scored 9 points. They haven't scored a touchdown in 2 weeks. It is what it is, but we're going to go to break. But I am encouraged that we watched a football game. A very weird, a very ugly football game, but I will take the scrappiness and the unpredictability every time over what we saw against Washington. We will get a little bit more into it, but I am looking for silver linings in Week 9, and I've got plenty of them. We'll be right back after this.
What's up, guys? I'm Ember Garcia and just want to invite you to check out Cowboys Break every day at 11:30 a.m. You got the boss man, Derek Eagleton. You got Nick Eman with the storytelling, If These Walls Could Talk. You got David Hellman, our local LSU homer and eyebrow rubber. And then you got me, who just calls it as it is. So make sure to check us out at 11:30 a.m. on all Dallas Cowboys platforms.
All right, Dave, so the Dallas Cowboys were tolerable, dare I say it, this past weekend, coming out of the game in Philly. But I need to know, all of these stats floating out around here, how much credit are you giving to Dallas for these accomplishments? Or was it really just kind of Philly being Philly, which is a bad football team? Okay? Are you ready?
I mean, I don't think you're going to like my answers, but let's go.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. All right, first up, the Cowboys forced 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions for Trayvon Diggs. I'm pretty positive that's the first time they've been able to have such an accomplishment. What is that? The most turnovers they've had in a game since last season, Game 7, I believe. So, yeah, is that on the Dallas defense or is that on Philly?
It's more turnovers than they had in the whole season leading into this. Like, I mean, blustery night in Philly, the wind's going crazy. It was almost like Grand Theft Autumn.
Oh, you're giving the win credit?
No, absolutely. Wow. Carson Wentz he had a few balls sail on him, but I mean, you have to give credit. You have to give credit to the Cowboys, specifically Trayvon Diggs. What up, buddy? Way to play the ball in the air. But here's the thing. Carson Wentz loves to turn the ball over. He has turned the ball over more than 100 times in his career. He's only in his 5th season. So we know the Eagles like to do that. I need to see it again against somebody that takes better care of the ball before I assume the Cowboys have turned over some sort of leaf.
Can we just go ahead and put the whole Dak versus Wentz conversation to bed forever now?
It's dead. Okay. I don't want to hear it ever again.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're abundantly clear, just so we're clear where we stand. All right, so shouts out to Shindrag Diggsy. I'm going to go ahead and give him a lot of credit and not the wind. Like, what are we doing here? Anyways, stop stealing the shine from my mans. To the next. This one's another one for the defense, too. I guess they're pretty good at maybe holding offenses to a certain number of yards. Definitely not in the rushing game, though. Like, that's a different story. They held Philly to 222 total yards. They were 3 for 8 on 3rd down. Is that the Dallas Cowboys defense? Or again, are you going to go ahead and say, Carson Wentz, you're not very good at the football?
They deserve credit for stopping what was given to them, but I do not understand why Philadelphia didn't try harder to run the ball. They were getting 5 yards a pop for most of that game. Boston Scott looked like a problem. I would have kept it up, but they decided to throw. For whatever reason, they wanted to put the ball in Carson Wentz's hands. I guess I have to admit it worked. But it was encouraging. It was encouraging to see the way the Cowboys pressured him, flustered him, forced him into mistakes, were able to get off the field on a pretty regular basis. Again, I'm not ready to say it's a trend, but it's a step in the right direction.
Well, there is a trend because Boston Scott had 70 yards. It was a career-high game for him. So, again, we're really great at making these running backs look like they're all pros. You know what? We're just here to make you look good. So while Philadelphia had a pretty good rushing game, maybe not overall game, neither of us did. It's okay. The Dallas Cowboys rushing offensive side of the ball, they had over 130 yards rushing total last night between the two, Pollard and Zeke. Decently productive in comparison. Well, I already know your answer on this too.
Oh. Okay, well, let me just ask you a question to respond to your question. How'd they do throwing the ball?
The whole offense was T-Rash.
Yeah. Ben DiNucci averaged 4.6 yards per attempt. So, listen, the Nooch...
Amari Cooper has 1 catch for 5 yards. I'm concerned.
I thought Nooch did all right for the circumstances that he was in. But thanks for the memories, even if they weren't that great, my guy, because if Andy Dalton is healthy next week, you got to put him back in because the running game looked fine. The running game looked great, but you're not going to get anywhere unless you can move the ball through the air in the modern NFL. So that's what I'm fixated on. Like, we know Zeke and Tony Pollard can run the ball. They got to be able to pass if they're going to have any type of success.
All right, well, now that we're done collecting ourselves from the fallout, we're going to be right back. After this, stay with us.
Hey there, everybody. Kyle Yeomans here with DallasCowboys.com, and I encourage all of you Cowboys fans out there to check out Talking Cowboys. The podcast is every week live on the website and on all social platforms at 9:30 every weekday morning. We've got myself alongside Isaiah Stanback, who's actually won one of those during his playing career as a former Dallas Cowboy. He won it with the Giants, but we'll forgive him for that. We've also got Heckma Harrison along with Dallas Cowboys insider Rob Phillips. It's a ton of fun every weekday morning at 9:30. Check it out on DallasCowboys.com.
One last segment here for us on the Star at Night. Kelsey, the Cowboys didn't score a touchdown. Let's be very honest, that game sucked. So what are we going to do? We're going to make our own entertainment, and guess what? When you're starting a third-string quarterback playing in the horrendous NFC East, the memes were on point on Sunday night, and I can't wait to go through them. Okay, look, like, do you think this is more than Ben DiNucci bargained for? Like, the absolute amount of pregame hype. Nina Kimes is talking about him. DiNucci. I don't even know.
DiNucci.
I don't even know which of these I love more. We got the Quincy Carter jersey disguised as a Ben DiNucci jersey. Safe to say that the pregame hype maybe didn't live up to what we saw on the field?
All I know is that the stats don't lie, and DiNucci was right. Coming into tonight's game, DiNucci was quite obviously living in Wentz's head rent-free. He's never beaten DiNucci. And he's thrown 45 more interceptions, now 47 more interceptions than DiNucci. So we obviously know who is the better quarterback, okay?
Carson Wentz.
That's no lie.
Carson Wentz did not play appreciably better than Ben DiNucci, and he is on a $34 million a year salary. So, Ben, hold your head up high, my guy. Don't even worry about it.
This wasn't even my favorite, though, because we had more, and there were some very questionable conversations. Obviously, we're going down because we had several quarterbacks on the Dallas Cowboys who had to have fallen in order for DiNucci to be in the starting position. But Jay Conway, who's going to tell him? He doesn't quite understand why DiNucci had the starting job. My guy, I'm concerned.
Where have you been? Where have you been? Literally. Maybe Dak Prescott. You ever heard of him? Did you follow that storyline? Get out of here. And this person probably wants Garrett Gilbert in the game, and I just can't handle it. He doesn't even know
Garrett Gilbert's on the team. I love you. He doesn't even know he's on the team. But this wasn't the best tweet of the night. That was my second favorite, I have to say. But you know which ones took the cake? Apparently, there's a contingency on Twitter that believes that Mike McCarthy is live tweeting during the Dallas Cowboys game. Live tweeting! And they are concerned.
This has been a recurring theme since at least like week 4, and it never gets old. Mike McCarthy is actually like he's a successful NFL agent. He's got a resume worth remembering all on its own. But because of this bit, you will remember him for centuries. Like, absolutely. I never get tired of him doing this. It will always be funny. And I hope he keeps it up, especially, obviously we prefer the Cowboys to start winning some games, but like the worse this gets, the more funny that bit might be, in all honesty.
Yeah. My favorite part was the snitch who straight up tagged NFL commit. She's like, would you just look at this?
Rod, she's tweeting from the sidelines.
Commish! Call in the reinforcements. But last but not least, prime time. He had to get in on the action. He was concerned for his guys in the blue. He's calling any and all reinforcements. We're looking for the waiver wire before before the trade deadline hits. But Dion, he's calling in the greats. Charles Haley, Michael Irvin, Troy, get out of the booth, my guy. We need you. Apparently, this is the solution.
I hate to be disrespectful. These men are legends, and they are deserving of respect, but there's no way that goes well. There's no... Kelsey, we've seen Charles Haley. You know how he walks these days. Like, that man played a long time in the NFL, and he looks like it. I don't know if I like his odds of getting around the corner against the starting NFL tackle right now. I appreciate the fervor. And you know what? Hey, to their credit, these Cowboys fought. They showed the fight that everybody wanted to see. I'll give them that. I think that the analysts the former guys, they can stay where they're at. I don't want anybody else getting hurt, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Well, we're going to stay where we're at as we lick our wounds from this weird loss that we just incurred. And
I'm not. No, I'm. Losing sucks. I get it. They're 2-6, but like licking your wounds is what happened after Washington. Like I feel good about what we watched. Honestly, compared to what it could have been. And I'll just stay over here pumping my sunshine. I don't even care. That's where I'll be. This is where I'll be on Monday.
Thank you. So, I am glad that we have little Mr. Sunshine over here on this here show. Thanks, David Hellman. Thank you guys for joining us. We will be previewing the game against the 7-0 Steelers. And I hate to break it to y'all, but I'm pretty positive that we're going down. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. It was another great episode. For David Hellman, I'm Kelsey Charles. This has been Star at Night. Bye.